Hi, and welcome to the second episode of my whiskey tasting session, in which I shall be tasting and give my comments about a completely new single malt called Amrut Kadhambam. This single malt called Kadhambam is not produced in Scotland, Ireland or Japan, but it is produced in a distillery in India. This distillery called Amrut started its business in 1948 with the production of rum, brandy and some unknown brand of whiskey which was sold only in the neighboring states. The rest of India knew nothing about it. At around the turn of the century, the owners of the distillery thought about producing a world-class single malt. Finally, in 2004, they introduced a brand called Amrut's Fusion in Glasgow in Scotland, which was immediately accepted by the market. This inspired them and they went on producing 6 more versions of single malt whiskey. The barley for this single malt is produced in the foothills of the Shivalik range of the Himalayan mountains. It is dried in the arid plains of Rajasthan, then transported to a South Indian city called Bangalore. Here is a bottle of Amrut's Kadhambam, which is the latest version. This whiskey is bottled in a 750 ml bottle and its ABV is 50%, which puts it in the strong category. Kadhambam has some unique characteristics. The name Kadhambam in Tamil language means combination or mixture. This whiskey is actually matured in 3 different casks. First in Oloroso sherry cask, then Amrut's own rum cask, and lastly in Amrut's own brandy cask. The period of maturation is not mentioned in the bottle, but it is understood to be around 5 years, which is considered to be adequate for whiskey maturation in India because of India's hot and moist climate. It is equivalent to 10 or 12 years in Scotland. Now there is a saying that too many cooks spoil the broth. Now we have to see whether too many casks, what effect actually it has left on this whiskey. The first nose is that of alcohol burn. Possibly this is the effect of the brandy cask. Now the alcohol burn has disappeared and it has been taken over by some fruity aromas, the most prominent being orange. There is dark chocolate and some caramel, toffee, something sugary, very little peat and oud. After a few swills in the glass, it leaves a mark. So the whiskey is, you can see that, so the whiskey is oily or buttery, and the color, as you can see, is quite dark. Even after settling down in the glass, you can see there are marks of the whiskey on the glass, so its viscosity is quite high. In the glass, the alcohol burn completely disappears. It is taken over by lot of fruity notes, some sweet aromas, maybe molasses. After sniffing from the glass, I can say that this is not a subtle whiskey, this is a complex one. It has got layers of flavor and it should be having layers of taste also. The flavors are predominantly fruits, some flowers, some sugary substance, chocolate as well as caramel toffee, some spices, and very faint peat. It's not a overwhelming, peaty whiskey, but there is a faint smell of peat. Without adding water, the first impression is that it's a very strong whiskey. And the flavors and the aromas that I spoke little earlier, they remain there. After adding water, the whiskey has acquired a completely new taste, a completely, I would say I have to look at it from a completely new angle. It's a delightful whiskey in the sense that it has got layers of taste. And the finest thing about this whiskey is that it remains on your palate and the taste does not go away. There is fruitiness, sweetness, a little smoke, some woody flavors, chocolate, and some spices. And it comes in layers and it is very well balanced. One does not overwhelm the other. The whiskey has a very long aftertaste and memory stays on the tongue for a pretty long time. So I consider this whiskey to be a very finely balanced but complex whiskey where the taste is not linear but it is on layers. There are different layers of taste. The whiskey actually grows on you. Let me tell you that when I first had this whiskey, I did not like it, but because I drank it like all other whiskies. But when I take it in sips and I start appreciating the various layers of taste of the flavors, well, I find it to be excellent. Because of the complexity of the flavors and the fact that it kind of grows on you, and well, it has certain positive characteristics, very assertive, I give this whiskey 8 out of 10.